What's up, everybody? This is Archon.
And I'm Rook.
And this is Raw Nerdy.
Yep. Try doing this simultaneously. Didn't quite
Yeah,
work that
we got to
one out
work
yet.
on that, man. We'll get it eventually. It'll be like clockwork. This is
I'm Rook. See,
Archon. So this is our first episode for you guys that we talked about where we're actually doing video. You get to see our faces. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry you have to look at us, but hey, I mean, you finally get to see the face behind the voices, and we get to show you a few more things, which is really cool.
Yeah, we actually can show you what we're talking about. Those of you that are listening on podcasts will still describe it, but we can show you what we're talking about a lot easier than trying to explain certain things when it gets into really complicated stuff.
Exactly. And I think it's going to be cool. It's going to be a new experience. It's going to be fun for us. It's going to be hopefully fun for you guys. And if you absolutely hate it, let us know in Discord. We're going to ignore you. But no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, we're going to make some tweaks, and over the next couple of weeks, things are going to look a little different, but we're going to get into a good flow with it. And I think it's overall going to make a better show. So
I agree. And I want to start this show off with a congratulations to the University of Texas Longhorns women's softball team for winning the national championship on the 6th of June.
Go Longhorns.
Mm-hmm. Hook 'em.
See, I'm not a big fan of the college, but the high school I went to for most of my high school career was in California, and we were the Longhorns, so I can dig it.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, this is our first time doing video, so if y'all have feedback, we'll gladly listen to it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, show. So a lot of stuff happened this week. We're going to get into all of that. We're going to talk about a little bit about the Xbox Showcase, a little bit about the Switch 2 launch, because that was pretty huge. And the biggest thing for this week, I know we said we were going to kind of take a little bit of a break from gaming and get into other stuff, but Dune Awakening came out this week, and we can't not talk about that game because we have a lot of opinions about that game.
Yeah. Archon and I got early release access to this, and it's been a blast since we've been playing it.
And thankfully, by the time this episode comes out, it'll be past early release, and a lot of you will have had the chance to play it too, so it won't really be much of spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But first, as always, what'd you do this week, man?
Well, my typical. I worked, slept, gym. Got a little down on myself at the beginning of the week and then throughout the week because I've hit that stagnant plateau on weight where my muscle mass building is offsetting what I'm losing in weight. But I am feeling the weight loss. I am seeing the weight loss. I'm just not seeing it on scale. So
it's there, man.
It's there. I'm getting muscles.
You're doing absolutely great. You're doing fantastic job. Yeah. I kind of felt that as well, where I hit this stagnant little, like, no matter what I did, no matter how hard I worked at the gym, it just wasn't coming off. And then my job started giving me hours, and then holy crap, man, it was insane. I don't know how this happened. Maybe it was the long days, but I lost 10 pounds over the course of like 3.5 days.
Yeah, it's probably because it's a lot of water weight and you're probably sweating a lot.
It is, but I was also like drinking like 8 to 9 bottles of water a day, at least, while I was working. So I was trying to replenish the water as I was using it, but holy cow, man.
But I've also was playing No Man's Sky, but like we said, Dune Awakening released early access on June 5th. I got the early access on June 6th and was playing it all that weekend. And so.
Yeah, don't get into too much of that yet, though, because we're going to get into that in its own, its own whole segment, because, oh, boy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
How about you? How's your week been?
My week sadly, I did not get to go to the gym once all week
Did you really need to?
because I was working, and when I wasn't working, I could barely move. It's been very interesting. I worked Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday we had the day off because of the rain. So
Mm-hmm.
then we worked Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So 5 days, and I ended the week with 62 hours in 5 days.
Oof.
Yeah, it was brutal. And I do like asphalt, seal coating, things like that. So it's all like a lot of like heavy work and very, very tiring. And like one of the days was like a 16-hour day, and several of them were like 14-hour days. And it was just like I'd get home and just die and
Yeah,
then go back the next morning. So it's
man.
been kind of rough adjusting.
We usually talk on a regular basis during the day through text, and when he's at work, I can tell when he's really busy because he doesn't really text much.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, and the fact that I'm like covered in like paint and sealer and rubber, and I don't want to touch my phone. I mean, a lot of the times when I text you, it might look goofy because like I'm like audio, like telling my watch what to tell you.
Oh yeah.
So it's all voice texting. But I mean, I did play a little bit. I mean, I got my raids in on EverQuest as
Of
always.
course.
I finished my Beast Lord Epic 2.0, which is like my biggest goal for this expansion was to get my 2.0, and I got it pretty early. So
Nice.
if I have to miss anything, I don't mind because now I've pretty much accomplished what I wanted to. And played a little bit of Vintage Story, not a whole lot, but then Dune came out, and man, it sucks when you have to work a long day, but you want to be home to play Dune because I really wanted to be able to give an honest review of the game today on the show. And for me, I have to be able to play the game at least so many hours before I'm willing to give an honest review, because the beginning of the game is all like cupcakes and rainbows. They make you want to play the game more, and it's more when you get into the game that you really form an opinion on it. And yeah, you'll get that opinion later because we got to that point. I mean, we put in some solid time. So
I think today we spent most of the day playing that game.
yeah, we looked up and we're like, oh crap, we got to get ready to record. Like it's almost time. Like, wow, where'd the day go? But that was the plan, and we did exactly what we wanted to do today. So I'm not mad at it. You mad at it?
I'm not mad at it. Actually, surprisingly, I think I've had this game on my wish list since it was announced.
Yeah, same.
And so I was hesitant on wanting to get the early release and just play it later. But when we had the change in our show, I was like, I'm getting it. We're going to play it together. And yeah, it's been a blast. And we'll talk more about that later this show.
Mm-hmm.
So you were talking about the Switch release?
Oh yeah. So the Switch release happened. It was a very good release for Nintendo. They just tons and tons of systems sold, but there have been a lot of problems, a lot of controversy, a lot of dumb mistakes. Like apparently, don't know why this was even a thing, but it happened in multiple locations. GameStop was stapling the receipts to the boxes and scratching the screens because it would go like through the box and hit the screens. Who thought that was a good idea?
I'm sorry, but who was it? Mossy not able to get his from Walmart, his pre-ordered one with the receipt in hand from Walmart, but one of his family members goes up and asks for one and gets it.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. And then like I heard there was a story of Best Buy where they were doing the midnight release thing, and they pre-ordered, like they had so many people in line that they gave a receipt to that said like if you're this number in line and you're guaranteed a system. And then 12 o'clock hit and they locked the doors and said we close at 12.
Duh.
And all those people that stood in line and had the receipts, they're like, They're like, yeah, you can still get one if you wait till we open at 10 a.m. tomorrow. But if you leave the line, you lose your spot.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I saw that story and like I'm like, there's no way. And I looked it up and it happened at multiple Best Buys across the US. Like several of them did that. They just didn't feel like staying open past their normal close time. And then just told the people, well, too bad. Even though the paper they gave them said that it will be available at 12:01 a.m.
So that is, I really hope Best Buy gets a lawsuit over that.
It was bonkers. And then they're like, okay, yeah, you can still get it, but you got to wait till we open at 10 a.m. and you can't leave your spot.
Wow.
Some of the people said that they had been there for like 6-7 hours in line waiting to be like one of the first ones at midnight, and then they just got hosed.
I want to know exactly how many of those Best Buys were in the same regions, or if they were just
Yeah,
individual
it
Best
seems
Buys.
like it might have been a regional thing, but holy cow, man.
Mhm.
I would have been so mad. I know like a couple of them I saw were here in my home state of Michigan, and wow. And then apparently a lot of places are saying that they're not going to be even getting more stock once they're sold out until 2026.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
With everything going on in the world, it might take a while for them to get them. But I did explain to some people the articles we read and what the actual end user license agreement says, and a lot of them said, "I'm not getting the Switch 2 just because of that."
Because of the bricking.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's one thing to sit there and say, we'll brick it so you can't play, or we'll restrict you from playing online, which
Well,
means you can't download stuff. You can't go to the store. You can't
I have
do other
seen
things.
something new on that though. I've seen some people, like people on TikTok testing that, which is,
Hmm.
I don't know why you would do that. You're a moron. But like they were testing the whole bricking thing, and basically I guess what Nintendo is doing is if you start trying to mod your system, it will flag it and it'll send you a message on your screen saying, hey, you're doing something you shouldn't be doing. Stop it, or we will brick your system. And I guess you get like two of those messages. And if you keep doing it, then it bricks it.
Well, see, the thing is once you buy the hard product, it's yours. They don't have a right to brick it. They have a right to restrict you from utilizing their software, but they don't have a right to brick your actual system.
I
But we'll
mean,
see what
that's
happens.
basically that. I mean, essentially, that's what they're doing is they're making it to where, okay, well, now you just can't play it. You can have it, but you just can't play it.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I got a feeling there's a lawsuit for Nintendo there
Yeah, there's
brewing.
a lot of weird stuff going on, but I do like PlayStation's response to Nintendo and
Oh,
Xbox.
what was this one?
PlayStation's response to Nintendo and Xbox being like, oh, yeah, well, Nintendo's like, we're going to make this system super expensive. We're going to make all the accessories expensive, and we're going to up the price of all the games to $80. And Xbox is like, all right, well, we're going to raise the price of our Xbox, and we're going to raise the price of our games as well. And Sony's like, yeah, we're knocking $100 off of our PlayStation, and we're keeping our games at the same price. Oh, we're actually going to run a sale where I think they put PlayStation Network at like 50% off for the next couple months or something like that too. And yeah, Nintendo's smart. Like, I mean, PlayStation is smart. That is amazing. They're just like, okay, you
that,
guys want to be expensive? We're going to be cheap.
that reminds me of the Xbox versus PlayStation when Xbox announced their price and PlayStation's only announcement was $299.
Yeah, cheaper than them.
Yep.
They raised their price by $100. We lowered ours by $100.
Oh yeah.
What you gonna do?
Not much they can do.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like, I mean, at this point, it's almost pointless for Xbox to even have a console. And I know a lot of people are going to be mad at me for saying that, but like, I own a PlayStation and I own a PC, and my PC will play I can play Xbox Live. I can play all my
Mhm.
Xbox stuff on my PC. So what do I need an Xbox system for?
Yeah, that's what I don't get is Xbox themselves said they plan on going completely streaming. So why don't they just make a Stream Deck? That's all it will do and go from there. Because, like you said, I play my Xbox games. Either I have the game on Steam already, or I
Mhm.
play it on the Xbox Game Pass.
Right. And I can just like basically screen mirror my PC to my TV if I want to play it on my couch. And I
Mm-hmm.
still use an Xbox controller. So, I mean, it's like
Yeah, you're playing an Xbox.
you can't, Xbox can't afford to put the hardware in an Xbox that I have in my PC. So there's no reason to buy an Xbox for me. So I don't know. Some people swear by Xbox. I'll play Xbox on my PC.
My this IS-24
Mm-hmm.
can run with my backbone attached. Can run most of the Xbox Game Pass games
Oh yeah,
on
my
that.
iPhone does too.
Now the problem with that is that games like Starfield, where you need to have a big screen to be able to see, that's a small screen,
Yeah,
very
but
small.
I can screen mirror my phone to my TV too.
Nice.
And sit there and play on my phone. I do that. I can do play. I run. I have like the PlayStation Portable, like not the PlayStation Portable itself, but like the app where I can run the PlayStation on my phone too. And I'll do
Mhm.
that sometimes. I'll sit on my couch.
Nice.
That's when I'm
Sorry,
being super
my
lazy and
ears.
don't want to just get up and grab my PS5 controller. I'm just like, I'll just play it on my phone.
Yeah. So I think, and I'm hoping Xbox switches to pure streaming soon, because I think then they could actually afford to, on their AAA first party titles, they can lower the prices on their games.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. If you're streaming the game anyway, why does it need to cost the same?
Yeah. I mean, my subscription, it's what, 15, $20 a month for Game Pass
Something like
Ultimate?
that. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like
And I
18,
can play almost every game they have in their library. I don't see a problem with
including
that.
the new ones. Like I don't get it. Like what I don't understand this business model where they're like, "Oh, hey, we got a huge new game coming out that everyone wants to play. Let's put it on Game Pass for free."
Very easy.
How are you going to sell copies of that game?
Don't need to sell copies if you're getting people to subscribe monthly.
Yeah, but
Say I
oh,
play a game for 3 months, I've made the cost of what buying it in person would be. And
yeah, but when they release 5, 6, 7 games a week on Game Pass, including all their big major titles, like you're getting you're paying the $15 to $18 a month, but you're getting way more value than that out of
I
the
think
games.
I think what they're doing is my opinion of their model is they're sitting there getting people to getting more people to actually, what's the word I'm looking for, uh, subscribe than would actually buy the game, because their
It's
Game Pass
possible,
has more games than just that one game.
right?
That's my opinion.
I mean that definitely is valid. Um, if they were smart, what they would do is game like big games that are going to hook people, like
Mm-hmm.
say, you know, Doom the Dark Ages or like Expedition 33, those games that really people just absolutely love. You put them on Game Pass for a month, get people hooked, then take them off Game Pass, and then they're like, "Well, crap. If I want to finish this game now, I got to buy the copy of the game." That's what they
Paywall.
should do, and they'd make bank because people would be buying the games left hand and fist just to finish the games that they started.
So pretty much you're saying bring demos back. That's
Or you'd
pretty
have
much what it would be.
or you'd have people going bananas, like spending way too much time to beat the game in the first month so that they don't have to worry about it.
Nah, true. But then you get an honest review of the game at the end because they beat the game.
Definitely fair. Definitely fair.
All right, so I'm gonna leave it up to you. Do we want to talk Dune Awakening, or do we want to go to Xbox Game Showcase?
I think Dune Awakening is going to take more time, so let's knock the showcase out so that
All
we
right,
can.
so we were talking just now about everything should be streaming, and I was keeping this to myself from laughing out loud because the very first thing they announced in the Xbox Game Showcase, which was on June 8th, is the new handheld Xbox is releasing with ROG. It's called the ROG Xbox Ally and the ROG Xbox Ally X. It's a new handheld that combines the power of Xbox with the expected Frito? Okay.
I want
With
Fritos. Come on now, don't talk about food.
with with the
hungry.
freedom expected from Windows. It's going to have a streamlined Windows 11. It's going to have an Asus motherboard, and it's going to launch holiday season in 2025 in select markets, and then a little bit later it'll hit all markets. It's going to have Steam, Xbox Game Pass. It's going to be a streaming platform is what it's going to be.
So it's just going to be a new Rogue Ally that's made for Xbox.
Of course. And I can't argue that. It makes sense. But yeah, it's pretty simple if you look at it. This is what it's going to like.
Oh yeah.
So it looks like it's taking Xbox and
That's kind of what the normal Rogue Ally looks like. It's a little bit.
it's
Got
the
the
only
Xbox
difference
button.
it's going to have the Xbox button, and it's going to have Windows 11 on it. That's pretty much it.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's a very simple thing. I hope it turns out to be okay, because maybe this coming out and rivaling Nintendo will help a little bit. Don't know how much of
Problem is you can't really rival Nintendo because Nintendo, like, you could rival PlayStation because you got a lot of the same games and things like that. You got a couple of exclusives here and there, but Nintendo is like got a powerhouse of exclusives that people like Mario Kart and Zelda games and the new Mario platformers, the new Donkey Kong platformer. Like you can't get those anywhere but Nintendo.
But I've heard plenty of people say they're not going to fork out the $80 for the new open world Mario Kart.
And the weird thing is like right now, based on what's out for the Switch 2, like I'm not even going to buy one yet because there's nothing to play except for Mario Kart. And I'm not going to spend that much money just to play Mario Kart. It looks amazing. I've watched tons of streamers playing it and stuff. It looks so much fun and it looks like a blast. Just, it's not worth it for just Mario Kart.
No,
when there's a decent library, when there's, a new Mario game, the Donkey Kong game's out, like hopefully a new Zelda at some point. Like when all that's out, sure, I'm on board. I'll eventually pick one up. But right now it's just not worth fighting people over for it. And like I've seen a bunch of people reviewing it and stuff, and they say that it's just basically like the main menu, everything. It just looks like a Switch. It's just got a little better graphics, a little more processing power, but it's just a Switch.
Pretty much.
Like you could have at least changed the menus up, made it look fresh, new, like just a Switch.
Yeah, if it's not broke, why fix it though?
They just updated the graphics.
Updated the graphics, made it a little bit more powerful.
Yeah.
Probably still can't run graphics on Mortal Kombat 11 well.
The comparison that I was reading somebody who was comparing like the teraflops and everything and the visuals and stuff, and they said that it's the Switch 2 is basically on par with like the Xbox One or the PS4. So graphical wise, it's still one generation behind.
One generation behind versus what the Switch currently had versus the Switch PS4 and Xbox One. I would take the graphics of the Xbox One.
Yeah, I mean the graphics are definitely better. It looks great.
So that was their new console. They also started releasing their first party studios upcoming titles. One I haven't heard of, what they started off with was A Clockwork Revolution, which is a steampunk RPG. Don't really know a lot about it. It looks interesting, but and wait,
I'm not a huge steampunk.
yeah, but just like we were talking before, it's going to be available on the Series XS, Xbox PC, Xbox Cloud, Xbox Play Anywhere, or play it day one on Game Pass.
Yeah.
Another one was Gears of War Reloaded. That's supposed to be released in August of this year. August 26th is the date they said. What's going to be cool with this one is it's not only coming to Xbox and Steam, but it's also coming to PS5. And they're starting their multiplayer beta June
Gears.
13th.
Gears is coming to PS5. Okay.
Yeah, that's one of the ones that Xbox agreed to terms with PlayStation to release on their system. So, have you ever played Grounded?
Yes.
Grounded 2 is going early access July 29th on Steam. Or you can play it day one with Game Pass, and it's going to be on all of the Xbox systems.
You know what I heard yesterday?
Huh?
And this is, I don't know if this is still a rumor or if this was an official announcement. I haven't had a chance to look it up yet. I probably should have before I say anything. But I heard that there's a Final Fantasy Tactics remaster on the way.
I wonder how they're going to do that.
I don't know, but Final Fantasy Tactics is one of my favorite Final Fantasy games. And if they remaster it well, oh boy, that could be really, really good. I'm liking some of these remasters lately, so.
Because they're being smart, they're remastering, not doing a complete remake.
Right. Although their remake was pretty dang good too, so.
True, it was. It was a combination. It was more of a remake than a remaster, but I would say it was right on that line of remake and remaster.
Oh, that was a full remake. Like the whole game is different. It follows slightly the same story. I mean, it follows the same story, but way more in depth, way more like the whole game is 3 games.
And the one thing that I like about it is they acknowledge they deviate from the actual true story more than what the true story did by having these little shadow things trying to get the story back on track.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed that one. All right, so let's get back to the showcase. Next one was a game called Keeper. I don't know much about it. It's supposed to be a psychedelic and the trailer is somewhat psychedelic and mysterious, but it's a third person adventure is all they're calling it. They're not explaining much about it.
Huh.
Yeah, I have no idea. But it comes out October 17th. Ninja Gaiden 4 is coming out October 21st, and it's coming out on everything but Nintendo. Which is funny because Ninja Gaiden started on Nintendo.
Yeah.
The Outer Worlds 2 is releasing. So that'll be interesting.
That looks pretty solid.
I've played the first one. It wasn't that bad.
This is a good year for gamers. I'm not going to lie.
It is a good year. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 Foundry. That demo came out at the showcase. Don't know much about it. It has a demo that you can get with the pre-order, so hopefully it's pretty good.
I used to really like the Tony Hawk games.
Oh, it was great.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, I got a lot of memories in that game, man.
I listen to modern games now, or modern music, or not modern music, but I listen to the classic. Oh God, this one I'm going to call alternative music classical. I'm going to listen to classic music, and then sometimes music I know from the Tony Hawk's games will pop up, And I'm like, oh, that brings
Oh yeah.
back memories.
Oh yeah. A lot of like Blink 182 and like Offspring and stuff like that. Those are all like big in the Tony Hawk games.
Mm-hmm. All right. So they announced that was all the first party games that were announced. The next games that are announced are world premieres and new games from partners. The first one, I want to see if they keep from getting sued by Nintendo. It is called Animal, and it's another creature collection RPG, action RPG.
Oh.
Yeah,
Like a Pokemon type game?
that's what it's saying. Let's see. Instead of waiting for someone else to create their own dream game, they did it themselves, drive across a beautiful new world, meeting and learning about and capturing the animal that inhabit it. You battle them in real time and use the twinning system to become one. So
Hmm.
it'll be interesting. I want to see how they do the capture system because I could see that causing problems if they don't do it different than a
Got to come
ball.
up with their own. Yeah, you gotta throw a cube at them.
Yeah. There's another game called Aphelion. It's a sci-fi adventure game grounded in real-world science.
Could
I
be
wonder,
good.
it could be. I'm finding out that games that actually institute real physics into the games, some of them are actually pretty good. Starfield, in some cases, does that. Uh, Elite Dangerous does that. Really, those are the only two games I've played hardcore that do it. Uh, I forgot the name of the.
Good list.
Is it Kerbal?
Herbal.
Uh, the Kerbal Space Program that uses real life physics.
Never heard of it.
It's you actually have to create a spaceship from the ground up and figure out how to make it all work. It's actually kind of fun because a lot of trial and error.
Huh.
There's another game that was announced called At Fate's End. It's made by Thunder Lotus. That's an interesting name for a studio. You wield a legendary god sword, Asus, as Sean, the deft young Harris of the Hemlock clan. So it looks like it might be pretty good. I don't. It's the award-winning team behind Spirit Fair. Never played that one either, so I don't really know.
I never even heard of that game.
There's another one from the creators of Pokemon, Game Freak, called The Blood of Dawnwalker. Sorry, wrong game. Called The Beast of Reincarnation.
That sounds more like a Game Freak game.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. The video was of a samurai jumping around. I would be interested in it, especially if it's day one with Game Pass, which they're saying it will be. So we'll see how that goes. The next one is The Blood of Dawnwalker, which is a brand new dark fantasy role-playing saga. It is by Banda.
Saga.
It's by Rebel Wolves and Bandai Namco Entertainment. So it should be a pretty good game. You're half man, half vampire, just like Daywalker from Blade.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you're forever treading the line between the world of day and the realm of night. Fight for your humanity or embrace the cursed powers to save your family. Whatever your choice, the question stands. Is your soul worth the lives of those you love? Coming in 2026.
So you could go bad or good in that game. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, it does. You could go vampire.
I love choices games. I love when your choices matter.
Yeah, I do too. And I love when your choices have an actual effect on the world.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Chronos, the New Dawn. It's a survival horror, but I've never heard of the studio behind it. The studio is Bloober Team. But You don't have to be a big studio to make a good game, as we found out in the past.
Yeah, with Expedition 33.
Mm-hmm. It's a third-person survival horror. You step into the shoes of the traveler, an agent of a mysterious collective whose mission is to salvage what remains of humanity. And the time-warping nightmare of the future, monsters are known as orphans stalk the land. Emerging from the downfall of mankind, these grotesque creatures confuse together to create even deadlier foes. It looks like it might be interesting. But it looks like they're trying to take No Man's Sky and put their own twist on it.
Okay.
But
That's not
because
necessarily a
you're an
bad thing.
astronaut, yeah, you're an astronaut wearing a suit, and it's a survival game. So why not?
That
All right.
sounds like a couple of games that we've played.
Speaking of Final Fantasy Remake Intergrade is coming to Xbox.
We knew that was going to happen.
It was going to
I just
happen.
didn't know when.
Mm-hmm.
I think they gave them like so many years or something like that before they could release it.
Yeah, probably, because I've heard there was rumor, and we'll talk about this a little bit, but there was rumor that they were going to announce Steam going PS5, or not Steam, Starfield going PS5. But as we can see, that hasn't been announced in any of their stuff.
But
Also,
you know what Bethesda did announce?
what's that?
Nothing.
Exactly.
They announced nothing at the Game Awards. Come on, man.
Final Fantasy 16 released on Xbox the day of this recording, 8th of June.
Nice.
Yep.
That is I actually like that one. That one's a lot of fun.
It's interesting.
Long.
It's an interesting story.
Very long. It's got a good story. Yeah. All their games have really good stories.
Now, that's one thing they're really good at, is telling a story. All right. So High on Life 2 is coming to Game Pass this winter. I never played one, so don't know really much about it. Oh, it's the one with the guns that can talk to you and stuff, with the faces facing you.
Oh, is it high on life because you're like smoking
High?
through the whole game? Yeah.
I'm wondering.
It sounds like it.
There's an Invincible game coming out called Invincible versus Quarter Up. It's going to be a 3 versus 3 tag team fighting game. It's coming in June 26th, or coming in 2026, not June. There's, I'm going to butcher this. It's either Madang or Mudang, Two Hearts. It's a cinematic tactical action adventure, and that's coming out in 2026. And then solo leveling, Arise, Overdrive.
It's a lot of names.
There's a lot of other games that were listed, but these were the ones.
The more featured ones, yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard of the Midnight Channel Returns, Persona 4 Revival officially announced, Planet of Lana 2 revealed, Resonance, A Plague Tale Legacy expands their universe, and then Super Meat Boy 3D.
So I know it wasn't today. I think it was yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
What was
the 7th?
Yeah, but I'm trying to think of like what would have been announcing it. But I know that like Capcom announced the new Resident Evil yesterday too.
Oh,
Resident Evil Requiem.
Yeah, but I think
that looked really good. Holy cow, did that look good?
They're on more platforms. I think they're more of a PlayStation than they are Xbox. So that's probably why they're not mentioned here. And so the last category of the DLC is going to be the DLC and new updates for live games. Age of Mythology is getting a update called Heavenly Spear coming in fall of 2025, which is going to bring the Japanese Pantheon. So that'll be interesting. Elder Scrolls Online is coming out with the Tales of Tamriel, which will give us the return of the Worm Cult. Fallout 76. I love the title of this. It's called Gone Fission. They've added fishing into the game.
Kind of. I mean, it is fishing, but it's like they're creatures. They're monsters that you can fish up and stuff. Like they've been altered by radiation. And yeah, I saw that. That one's already out, I think.
Yeah, it released, I think, day of recording because I
Maybe.
was my computer when we had the issue earlier was trying to update Fallout 76 with that patch, with that DLC. And then final, I got two more. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, The Order of the Giants DLC launches September 4th. And Sea of Thieves Season 17, called The Smuggler's Tide, releases. And apparently that game's a really big game. And it launches in August and it'll be free for all players.
Nice. Yeah, that game, it's fun. I've played it for
Mm-hmm.
a brief little bit of time. It's kind of cool, like raiding other pirates and finding treasure on islands and stuff. It's pretty cool. I enjoyed
But
it.
but like you said, Bethesda didn't mention anything in this show.
They've been so silent, and
In everything. It makes no sense why Bethesda
it
wants to be
just
so silent.
it drives me nuts because, like, we talked about this on another show, because when they finally do announce something, it's going to be like day of release. Like, oh yeah, we're going to do this today.
That's what they did with the release for uh
Oblivion.
not just Oblivion and Starfield. They did it with the release of the DLC. They said,
Oh, the DLC, the buggy, all of that was
yeah,
just like, oh yeah, we're gonna add a buggy, and it's out today.
they literally came out and said, "Oh, we're working on this game, this DLC, called Shattered Space, and by the way, it's out today, and you can get it now."
It's nuts, man.
All right, so let's get to the main topic of this show.
Oh boy.
I'll let you lead it off, sir.
So Dune Awakening
Mm-hmm.
early release started on the 5th,
Mm-hmm.
and the main game comes out. It'll be out by the time you guys hear this on the 10th. That's when everybody will be able to play. I read an article on the 8th, or no, today's the 8th. So I read an article on the 7th, so
Mm-hmm.
2 days after it launched, that stated that on Steam for the early access, they had over 100,000 concurrent players playing this game.
And that's early access.
And that's just the early access. That's insane numbers. Bonkers. 100,000 concurrent playing all at the same time. Like, that's huge for any game. And
Mm-hmm.
this game is still, like, most people can't play it yet.
Day one of early access, 100,000 concurrent players is amazing. And I gotta say, not a bad idea and not a bad reason why. This game is phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm really, really enjoying it. It has that survival feel. The
Mm-hmm.
whole, you gotta upgrade your stuff, you gotta go bigger, better, but it also has a very good, like, story element to it. A very good, like, it's fun to play. You always have something to do, and I'm not even. We're only, max level was 200,
Mm-hmm.
and we're only like 34 or 35 right now. Like, we still have so far to go,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just it's very captivating. Like, everything you do is like fun,
There's
and
that
like
all, and everything's spaced out. And just like in the movies, you got to worry about this worm.
you got to worry about a lot of things in this movie. But yeah, that worm, man, you get this little meter that says he's close, and it just makes your heart start thumping, and you're like running and trying to get off the sand as fast as you can. One of my buddies that's playing with us, I don't know how many times he's like, "Oh, this reminds me of Tremors. Get to the rocks. Get to the rocks. This is Tremors. Get to the rocks." But he's not wrong. Like, I guarantee you that's where they came up with the idea for Tremors, was from the
Probably.
sandworms in Dune. But
Probably.
it's
Every
just,
time every time I look at it, I think of Monster Hunter, the movie, where they're
yeah,
getting to the rocks to avoid the big monster coming out of the sand.
yeah. And it's like everything really. I've only found a few things about the game that kind of bug me. and I'll just throw those out. Like, I really wish there was more than one type of like point of view. Like right
Mhm.
now, it's just the over the shoulder, like third person type view, and that's not generally my style with games. I'm more of a first person kind of guy, but I'm getting used to it, and I don't know it any other way. So it's like playing it that way is the way I know to play the game, and it's still fun. It doesn't take away from the fun. I just wish they had a little bit more options with the field of view,
Mhm.
or point of view. I mean, and then there's one point where you get to the point where you have to like harvest the sand, and there's two different tools that you can use to do it with, and it doesn't make sense to me why there's two. Like there does like neither tool really has another purpose, so it's like there's no reason to have two.
I think what happened is somebody messed up somewhere and forgot to take out the scanner.
I think the scanner was like meant to do other things though. Like it was probably meant to be able to, it says something in the tooltip about maybe being able to do like set points on your map with it of where you find stuff.
I think it might be one
I
of
don't know.
those where you run into an area and if you don't have your scan gun with you, that you can shoot the scan ball in the air and it blows up and scans the whole area. I think you
Mhm.
can run around with the scan tool and it'll scan and tell you where those locations are.
I wonder. I don't know. It'd be interesting to try it. Like I have both, so it'd be interesting to try it. Like I made one of each thinking that they were gonna both be needed, but other than for the little like quest it gives you to do it, they're not both needed for anything. You only need one.
So there was a period of time today that the game was extremely safe for us.
Yeah.
My, because so anytime you go into the deep sand across away from the hard rocks, you got a chance of getting attacked by the worm. And you can see a meter that shows you how close the worm is and whatnot. And you can see him coming at you or coming up out of the ground or whatnot. There was about a 3 or 4 hour period where the worm just vanished.
Yeah, he just went on vacation. He was gone.
And
You could
we're
just
just
go
like,
everywhere.
and we're just sitting here playing like, finally get some respite. Nobody say anything. And in chat, right on the screen, bink, where's the worm?
Yeah, I know. Like somebody's got to complain that the worm's not there. Like, shut up, dude.
And then they
Be quiet.
obviously the devs were paying attention. The worm was missing. Eventually, they kicked everybody out of the server and did a reboot of the server so that the worm came back.
And then when he came, like he didn't even come back right away. Everybody thought that they didn't actually fix it, but then all of a sudden he showed up, and we had built something on our base that was apparently a little too far out in the sand, and we found out he was back because he came and just started munching all over on our base, and we're like running. It was
Yeah,
crazy.
it was like just like that one corner of the plot of land we can build on happened to be over the loose sand where the worm can see. And every couple of seconds, you'd see the ground ripple, and he'd just come straight up, eat whatever's there, and go right back down. So I had to quickly dismantle all of that part of the building.
Yeah, he got like stuck there just trying to eat our building. It was like he wouldn't leave our house, and we're like, okay. And when we're talking about this worm, we're not just talking about, oh darn, the worm got me, because in this game when you die, you can respawn in one of like several places, like a checkpoint or like at your vehicle or whatever, unless you're on your vehicle. But like you can respawn at these several different places, and for the most part, you lose your money, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really noticed losing much for items. However, if you get eaten by the worm eats you, and he eats all of your stuff, and it's gone, and you don't get it back. It's gone. It's just gone. And everywhere you go, you have to try and avoid this worm. And so, like, if you're traveling and you have like a ton of materials on you, or a ton of money on you, or like even your bike, your dirt bike, little sand crawler bike on you, he eats it and it's gone, and you have to remake all of it. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, the worm is you got to worry about the worm. The worm sucks.
So when we say worm, we're not talking about anything small, so to speak. We're talking about something huge.
Like the
And
size of a house. If you've seen Dune, you know what the worms are. Like they're the sandworms are huge. That's the worm. It's a big
mhm,
boy. They're
he
massive.
is huge. That meter at the bottom is the meter we're talking about. It's a red squiggly line, but it's normally a half circle or a quarter of a circle, and it's normally just a quarter of a circle, and it gets more wavy and more red the closer he is to attacking you or coming out of the ground.
And once it starts getting really red, then you can like actually feel the ground shaking around you as you're running and you're
Mm-hmm.
like desperately trying to get to a rock as fast as you physically can because you don't want to lose the last 3 hours of crafting that you've done because all that stuff's still on you and you haven't put it in a bank or in your box. Like
Mm-hmm.
it sucks.
Speaking of crafting, one thing I do like is how you mine minerals in this game.
Oh yeah.
Uh, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very unique. It does kind of remind me a little bit of Starfield because you need to have like a cutter type of thing to do it. Except in
Mm-hmm.
this game, it's like you don't just walk up and cut willy nilly. It's like you actually have like it'll give you you scan the rock and it gives you like an actual pattern, and it's like, hey, you know, this is how you need to cut this rock to break it. And like this right here is a perfect example. You have to like follow the path to break it. And it's not always a straight path either. Like sometimes is like this one, it's all kind of squiggly and you just got to follow it. And if you miss one little spot, you don't break the rock. Like you
You
got
got
to
to find
go
that
back.
one spot that you missed.
Yeah, you got to go back and you got to hit that spot. And
But
this
I,
is actually footage of Rook in game playing, like
yeah,
mining this stuff. So like it's kind of cool, like the way they do it and like make you actually. It's almost like a little mini game to do it.
mm-hmm.
And it's fun.
uh, it's fun. Anything you can break with that tool that I was running around with in the video, they call it a cutter. Anything you can break, you scan it, and it'll give you the pattern or line you need to cut with that to break that component apart. I did find out those crashed buggies and stuff that you see out there.
Yeah, I found
You
that
can
out too.
you can scan them and then start breaking those apart.
Yeah, and they give you like very useful materials.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's fun. The biggest thing you could see it on that video a little bit is you have a meter on the right hand side. You actually have to track your hydration level because if you get under 1/3 hydration, you lose all bonuses to your stamina. And if you start dehydrating with no water, you start taking damage.
you'll die.
Yeah. But the weirdest way to hydrate in this game makes you seem like you're a vampire.
Mm,
um,
I like it.
you can extrapolate a resource from a human body and drink it, or you can refine it and pull the water out of it. And I'm not talking about urine.
Yeah.
Another thing I like about this game is constructing buildings. Instead of just throwing down the item and then having to break it and pull it back up, you can actually build your whole platform or base or whatever and put everything where you want it before you solidify and waste resources building
Yeah. Did you ever play Nightingale with us?
it. No.
Oh, Nightingale kind of did that as well, where you kind of put down a little blueprint and then you added materials to it to build it. And it's kind of similar in Dune, where like you see like the glowing outline of basically what you want to do, and then like you hold the button down and it actually crafts it for you.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I wish I mean, I haven't really gotten into it. We just figured out that like if you hit the R button, it gives you more choices of things to build. But I wish there was a little bit more customization to it rather than like a lot of these survival games. It's just like, okay, you can build squares.
Well, this one has a lot. This is the first game I've played survival wise where they give you round objects to build.
Yeah, there's rounded walls and stuff, but like, I mean, like for instance, Enshrouded, we all love Enshrouded, but like that game, like you can literally take it down to where you're making like one little pixel bricks at a time, and you can shape things however you want if you want to take the time to do it. But like Power World or like Icarus or games like this, like you have to put like basically squares
Yeah,
or curved squares.
there's a
Like,
game called Dual Universe, just like Enshrouded for the most part, but you can take it down to where it's a pixel size, one little
yeah,
pixel, and literally make any shape or anything you want with that design. Problem is, for a computer, doing something like that is extremely resource intense.
yeah,
Uh, it, I had at the time when I first started playing it a very powerful gaming PC, and my PC was struggling to run it. Even
yeah,
now that it's a 4-year-old PC or 5-year-old PC, it's going to be even harder to run it. But yeah, I love this game though. I love Dune Awakening. It brings a whole new meaning to survival. You got to worry about your environment. You got to worry about enemy PCs. There is PvP, but it's in certain areas. You have
yeah,
to worry about your own thirst, not hunger, just thirst. And that worm trying to cross that vast stuff. That worm makes it entertaining.
yeah. It really does, because I mean, when he was gone for those few hours, it like it
It was
almost
just
seemed too
another. It
easy.
was just another survival game.
Yeah, it almost seemed too easy. But then when they brought him back, it was like, and that's when we realized, of course. See, had he been there the whole time, we would have realized this earlier. But we realized that we should probably move our base because it was in a place where he was just munching on it, and that's not good. Like, so we decided to move, and that's like kind of the point we were at when we had to stop to come record. But
Yeah, I was
like,
working on a new base. The funniest thing is though is like we wouldn't have known it until I decided to build the garage where I did, because it was like the whole Archon was sitting there and he's like, "Where's the back half of our garage?" And I
yeah,
got up there and it was like, "It is gone." And all of a sudden, I get the warning that I'm being the worms right there, and we're stuck inside the building because when the worm comes up, the ground rises into a mound where he comes up out of, just like in the movies.
yeah.
And he started eating the walls, not us, just the walls. It's like, okay, I got to get out of here. And I finally got out of there and just watched him keep doing it. It was like, okay, I
Yeah,
guess
it
I got
took
to
me a
remove
while because
that.
I was trying to get my bike out of there too, because these bikes like aren't easy to make. They require a ton of materials, and you got to
Mm-hmm.
make tons of different parts, and then put the parts weld your bike together and stuff, basically. And like, I wanted my bike out of there, and he wasn't letting me out, and it was, uh,
But I
it
found
was
out how to get him to stop, which was pretty quick. And that was just destroy all the building parts that were right over where he was.
right.
So we were making it easier for everybody else because our base was constantly getting attacked.
Well, and just think, eventually, I don't think there's only one worm. I think there's more than one worm.
I don't know. Every time I've seen the worm, when he's come up in one region, I had never had to worry about him in a different region.
I don't know. I think there is more than one, because like down in the south area, like where you start,
Mm-hmm.
like he can't be down there and up top at the same time. And I
But
know in the movie there's lots of them.
when I ran between the two zones from the first trading post to where we made the base, when I was running between there, I'd only see the one worm, and he would usually come up way off to the side, and I'd just turn my camera where I'm watching him as I'm zooming across, just to make sure he's not coming after me. And that was the only time the thing showed me there was a worm nearby.
Well,
So
when he was destroying our house, though, I remember Cyron, when he was playing, he was up north, and he had a worm up there too. So there's got to
okay,
be more than one.
that might be the case. I mean, it wouldn't make sense for there only be one, especially when there's a lot of other places you can go in the game.
Yeah, we've barely scratched the surface of where. I mean, we barely scratched the surface of the area we're in,
True.
and
I
it's kind of
mean,
cool because in Dune, like the whole map basically is covered in a fog of war, and you only can see where you go, and you have to go and then try and like climb up to a high place and launch this little scanner that'll like scans the area to unveil some of the map. You have to do it a lot. And there's some areas that don't have high areas, so you can like get these little scanners for your bike that only scan like small areas, and you got to run around trying to scan that way just to know where you're going.
Mm-hmm. I actually, uh, another aspect of this game that's really makes it really interesting is everything wears out.
Yeah.
So your bike, your engine, all that wears out. You got to put fuel in your bike. You got to put fuel in your power generators
Mm-hmm.
on.
Well, and even like you can repair your gear, like if your gear starts going bad, but when you repair it, it loses overall durability. So every time you repair it, it gets weaker and weaker and weaker until eventually you can't repair it anymore.
Then you just recycle it and make another one.
Yeah. But I found the weaker it gets, the less you get back from recycling it.
True. I didn't think about that. But
But
either way, the game's really fun. We're having a blast with it.
well, and later on in the game, like toward the end game, there's this place called the Deep Desert, which is a giant PvP like battle for spice, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter how familiar, you can't get familiar with it basically, because I think it's like once every couple days or once every like week or something like that, a giant sandstorm comes through and like remakes the terrain, like completely
Nice.
changes the terrain. So you never really know when you're going in there what it's going to look like, which I
Speaking
think
of
is kind of cool.
sandstorms, that's another thing you got to worry about in this game is sandstorms. Because when
Oh
they
yeah.
come through, if you're not in any kind of shelter, you will get hit in the sandstorm and you will start losing your life.
Yeah. And your bike. Like you
Mm-hmm.
even this game even puts it like it goes so far as to like when you build your house or your base or whatever, you have to build like a little garage and keep your bike sheltered too, because if it's
Mm-hmm.
out and a sandstorm comes through, it'll wreck your bike, like it'll wreck the parts, and you'll have to like basically make new parts and rebuild your bike.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong though, it's still really fun. We might
It
be
is.
saying
It's so much fun.
I'm going to get back into it after we're done recording tonight. If y'all want to join us in this game, we're on the World's End Sand Rat server.
Yeah. The World's End like world group, and then the Sand Rat server. And we
Mm-hmm.
have a raw guild that we made. And you know, if you want to get in there, just like I'm Archon, he's Rook, get a hold of us. We'll get you in.
Oh yeah, it's fun. We love running it.
I have a feeling teams are going to be very important later in this game, especially when it comes to the PvP aspect of it. If we want to like farm any of the spice, we're going to need to go in force. So,
oh yeah, I'm excited for that. I don't play PvP much, but combat in this game is actually quite entertaining.
yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It's dangerous too.
Yeah, Rook likes to use me as bait. He'll like he'll like grappling hook himself to the top of the building, and then when all the mobs come running after me, then he'll jump in and start like throwing bombs and trying to help.
Hey,
It's fun.
I let them start focusing on you, so I come up behind and start killing everything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Classic pincer attack.
Exactly. It works.
Yeah. I love being bait.
Hey, you've gotten pretty good at taking things down pretty quick though.
Yeah, I'm getting a little stronger. So, but yeah, I would say honest review as of right now, I'm not really far enough in to give it an overall rating yet, but I would definitely say give it a shot. It's worth playing. If you like survival games, you'll love it. It doesn't hold your hand. It's not easy. It makes you actually play, and there is a challenge to it. So
yeah, even
go into it knowing that.
Even in the tutorial, it is hard.
Yeah,
because it doesn't handhold. It gives you the location in the beginning, but pay attention to the tooltips it gives you, because that is where it gives you all the information you need. But it's really fun. I really enjoy it, and I highly recommend this game. My preliminary rating is going to be around an 80 because there is still some bugs they got to work out. However, the devs have given me big hope for this game, especially since they're paying attention to what's going on the servers as the game is being played. When they told us we are aware the worm's not there, I was like, sweet, they're actually paying attention and trying to solve problems while the game is going.
Yep.
There are a couple of bugs. I went to the Anvil trading post and it took forever for the textures to load. But you know what? I can wait an extra couple of minutes, run
That could
around
be
the
a
place.
hardware issue, though.
It could be a hardware issue, but
it is a very beautiful, very heavy PC intensive game. Like
mm-hmm.
you need to have a pretty decent rig to play it, and
Of all the things it says that doesn't meet basic requirements, my hard drive was saying it didn't meet it, but the game's running no problem with the hard drive. So
yeah, it does say that there is some type of bug with NVIDIA drivers too, which could also be a reason why you're having
that
loading
might have
issues.
been it. But like I said, that's the only major issue I ran into in the game. Outside of the worm disappearing, but they came up and said, hey, we know this is happening right now. We are trying to fix it. And then they booted everybody out, fixed it, and we came back in. And
that right there that you just said was the one major issue I've had with the game.
The fact they didn't tell you they're going to boot everybody.
There was no warning, no, hey, get someplace safe. You know, the servers will be coming down in 15 minutes. Nothing like that. Just boom. All of a sudden, all three of us were like, what just happened? Where did everything go?
Yeah, that is a downside to how they did that. But they did pop up the message after we died saying we're working on fixing this. It went down for an unplanned patch or maintenance.
for about 15 minutes or so, and then it came back up. It was cool. Like, that's probably why when they rebooted it that the worm didn't come up right away, because they wanted to give people time to get back in and get out of wherever they were before they put the worm back. But like, actually, I didn't think of that. It is nice to have a little bit of warning before you just kick everybody.
I would have expected them to say, get somewhere safe, we're shutting down, in the same location where they put, we are aware of the worm missing.
Right, exactly.
So this is the screen, that they had it up there.
That kind of threw me off a little. I was like, whoa, like, come on, give me a warning or something. Like, any other MMO I've ever played, they're like, hey, you know, the server has to come down, find someplace safe. You have 10 minutes or 5 minutes or what.
WoW's notorious for that. They'll just put it down in their chat. They're saying server coming down at this time, server coming down at this time. And it just starts spamming my chat. And I'm like, really?
every 15 seconds. Yeah. EverQuest does that too. Like every 15 seconds, you get a message for like 5 minutes. And if you don't know when the server's coming down, that's because you're not paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, yeah, I mean, I had a blast. When I get a little further, get more into the end game, I'll give another rating. So probably by the next show or so.
As they keep focusing on this game, just like they did with Conan Exiles,
yep.
This game will be a great game. I can see why it had 100,000 people playing it concurrently.
Yeah, I can only imagine how bad it's going to be once they full release on the 10th.
Have you seen the number of servers I got?
So many. The reason why we told you World's End and Sandrat as a server is because there's about 30 different world groups, and each world group has about 30 different servers. So there are a ton.
Yeah, they are actually and if this early access has been any proof, they're going to need it.
Right.
All right, so I think that's all we got for this show.
Yeah, I think that pretty much wraps up this show. We hope you guys like the new format. Like I said, as it keeps going, it's going to be getting better. We're going to improve it. We're going to take your guys' suggestions and try and throw them in the show. If you have any suggestions for segments, anything like that you'd want to see, want to hear, let us know. We're going to try and get it in. And yeah.
There is a segment we added that we didn't discuss today because there wasn't really anything from our Discord or emails, but we do have a section. We will be answering questions on here. live. So you ask a question in Discord, we will answer it. Just need questions to answer. So feel free to
Yep.
ask. Our Discord is discord.gg/raw podcast. That's the best way to talk to us. That's where we're always at. We also have Facebook page. It's Raw Podcast. We have an Instagram page, Raw Podcast 1. Am I missing any?
Yeah, if you want to get a hold of the show for any advertising, anything like that, you can also email us at podcastraw@gmail.com. Or you can contact us personally. You can find me pretty much anywhere as the Archon 606 on all social media, and again in Discord.
You can find me anywhere, some variation of Rook 213 or Tomcat 213. I'm Rook 213 in Discord, and I'm Rook in the game we were just talking about, Dune Awakening.
Yep. And I'm Archon, of course. So you guys have a fantastic nerdy week, and we will see you next week.
Y'all stay nerdy.